Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Blue Eyes Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-quarter century Stampede. Wanted to update the deck with Dragon Master Magia being a little more readily available. It makes for a more viable deck for the Blue Eyes White Dragon that can also focus on summoning out this fusion monster, needing Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or 3 Blue Eyes monsters plus 1 Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. So you have plenty of fusion options available to you in this deck, with just a couple changes mixed around with the actual Blue Eyes deck and focusing more on the Blue Eyes playstyle. We're going for a pure Blue Eyes deck with this build. The Primite engine is still pretty pricey, so more readily available to people are the pure versions of the deck. So that's what we'll be sticking with this video as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Blue Eyes, running 2 copies of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. This would definitely disappoint Seto Kaiba, but still, it's just a more consistent option for the Blue Eyes in the deck to only need to run 2 copies. Anytime we're going to be using the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for the actual fusion play, we're going to be using Ultimate Fusion and the Blue Eyes Ultimate that we set up in the graveyard with the equip option for Wishes for Eyes of Blue. So we'll have those cards to rely on for that setup. So we only need the 2 Blue Eyes. We are running 3 copies of Maiden of White just for the ease of being able to set up True Light on the field, and then also just being able to special summon this card back every time we summon a Blue Eyes monster. Being able to just also recycle the True Light, whether our opponent destroys it or not, will come up more often than not as well. So you definitely want 3 of this consistent tuner to run in the deck, along with the 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. Sage actually does help with the actual play to summon out Dragon Master Magia. So you want to run 3 copies of this card regardless. When it's normal summon, you can add 1 level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand, except for Sage with Eyes of Blue. You can discard this card to target an effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and special summon a Blue Eyes from your deck. So special summon options, but the main play will be to search out our go-to card to help with setting up the actual Dragon Master Magia play, which is Priestess with Eyes of Blue. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card, quick effect, you can send 1 effect monster you control to the graveyard. If you do have up to 2 Blue Eyes monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Blue Eyes you control, shuffle into the deck, and special summon this card. So the main play will come into the fact that you can get your additional normal summon with your Sage with Eyes of Blue setup for this card, being able to give you the added monster to then go into your Link monster, which is your Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and then be able to use that card to search out Mausoleum to give you your additional normal summon. So with that additional normal summon being Priestess with Eyes of Blue, you can use this card to search out the needed components for the actual Blue Eyes play fusion setup to summon out the Dragon Master Magia, which one of those cards being the Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, running the copy of this to be able to search, because then it'll be the card we shuffle back with our Ultimate Fusion to then be able to summon out the Dragon Master Magia. 1 Blue Eyes Jet Dragon just for another protection option for our cards in the graveyard as well, and also another potential search because our Priestess with Eyes of Blue can search and add up to 2 Blue Eyes monsters with different names. So just as another target to grab if you're not going just for a normal Blue Eyes. And then also additionally 2 Kaiser Seahorse for the added special summon target options if we need an additional card as well to target our Priestess with Eyes of Blue. For the hand trap lineup, we're running 3 copies of Fualos and 3 copies of Ash Blossom, just for the ease of being able to get a Fualos playset now thanks to the Stampede set. Ash Blossom just being a good search restrictor, and then also additionally the 2 copies of Effect Veiler as another level 1 tuner or monster that can be used for the summon of our Blue Eyes monsters, but also being able to search it off of cards like Wishes for Eyes of Blue as well. And then for the spells, we run 3 copies of Wishes for Eyes of Blue. You discard 1 card to add 1 level 1 light tuner and 1 spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except for Wishes of Eyes of Blue. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a Blue Eyes White Dragon you control. Equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equip spell and give it 400 attack. So this card is very vital for the Dragon Master Magia play because we will use this card to equip our Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon onto our needed needed monster on the field. Also having that additional search for the level 1 Light Tuner and the 1 spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon. So with the fact that Ultimate Fusion is just a 1-of in the deck, we will use this card to search out those needed 1-ofs for that play as well. And then the added Banish to equip that monster onto a Blue Eyes White Dragon we control as well. And then also 2 copies of Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons for extra special summon plays as well. And then an added fusion play, if need be, to go into some of the other bigger fusion monsters we run, which can be also the Blue Eyes Tyrant, being able to use this card for the tribute of our monster or any other additional fusion we run also. Some of the 1-ofs include the Mausoleum of White for the search off of our Spirit with Eyes of Blue, the 1 Ultimate Fusion, the card needed to fusion summon out our Dragon Master Magia, and then also the 1 copy of Chaos Form if you wanted to go for the actual ritual play, if your fusion play, let's say, was stopped, and the 1 Bingo Machine Go for other additional search options as well for the spell and traps in the deck, with our 1-ofs for our generic traps being the 1 Crossout Designator, the 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Pot of Prosperity, and the 1 1-for-1 to finish off the spell lineup. For the traps, we're running 1 copy of True Light. True Light also helps just to set up the needed spell as well for our go-to with our Maiden of White. So being able to use that definitely does come in handy there. And the 1 Majesty of White Dragons, another search option to then use our Revealed Blue Eyes to destroy cards our opponent controls, with the last of the traps being the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. If you have any of the additional hand traps you want to run, you can always swap them in, but still happy with the number for the traps in the deck also. For the extra deck, we're running the 1 copy of Dragon Master Magia. Must first be fusion summoned. When your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. You go and use this effect of Dragon Master Magia in response to each card type, monster, spell, and trap once per turn. If this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster or 1 Chaos Blacklist or Soldier ritual monster from your extra deck or graveyard. Added special summon power, but the 3 negates is the big thing about this boss monster, and I'll go over the combo at the end of the video, how to get this card out. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for the equip on for the shuffle back with Ultimate Fusion to summon out this monster. Otherwise, you can go for other fusion options like our Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate to equip and then go into Tyrant. And then the 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst is just another added fusion option with Ultimate Fusion using 2 Blue Eyes or just the tribute option from there. The 3 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon just being the synchro you'll go into the most, because then you can use this monster to not only stop graveyard effects, so you can use this card as well for the added option when an effect or a card in the graveyard is activated. You can use this card to negate the activation, so if your opponent does destroy your True Light, you can use this card to get around that play. The 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon to summon off of the tribute of our Spirit Dragon, and then the 1 Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, and the 1 Lightstorm Dragon to finish off the synchro monsters, with our Link monsters being the 2 copies of the Spirit of Eyes of Blue. So you have another option to go into if your opponent does negate the first search to go into your Mausoleum. And then the 2 Heretic Seals of Heavenly Spheres for the last of the Link monsters, just as an added bounce power and special summon of additional dragon monsters from your deck onto the field. And then as for the go-to play to summon out the Dragon Master Magia, as I said before, Sage with Eyes of Blue opens up that entire play. When it is normal summon, you add 1 level 1 Light Tuner from your deck to your hand. So use this card to add your Maiden of White to your hand. Using this card then to send it to the graveyard to set up the True Light on your field. Activating the True Light to then set 1 spell or trap from your deck that mentions Blue Eyes. So then you'll sit your Wishes for Eyes of Blue. You need the 1 additional card in your hand to then activate to discard for the Wishes for Eyes of Blue, but then using this card to add 1 spell or trap and also the 1 Light Tuner. So with this play, you will then search out your 1-ofs, which are the Ultimate Fusion, and then the Priestess with Eyes of Blue as well. So after that, you have your Sage. You'll go in for your Link 1 play to summon out your Spirit with Eyes of Blue, activating this card then to search for your Mausoleum. Then with this, you're able to also then go for the additional summon of your level 1 Light Tuner as well from there. So then you can have your normal summon of your additional monster as well for this card, and then being able to target a face of monster you control and send 1 monster as well off of this play for the summon. So when a card effect is activated that targets this card, you can send 1 effect monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, add up to 2 Blue Eyes monsters. So you'll use Mausoleum to target the Priestess, tribute the Priestess in exchange for that card. This will then allow you to activate the play, sending your Blue Eyes off of the Mausoleum, and then before that, adding the 2 different Blue Eyes monsters from the Priestess to your hand with this. You will then tribute the Spirit to summon the Blue Eyes back onto the field. Then your Maiden in the graveyard will activate as well. Then from there, you have the added equip, using the Banish in your graveyard of the Wishes for Eyes of Blue to equip onto your Blue Eyes White Dragon right here, your Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and then being able to go for your Synchro play, setting up the Blue Eyes Ultimate in your graveyard as well, to then be able to go into your level 9 Synchro play, being your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and then from there you have the Ultimate Fusion during the main phase to fusion, summon 1 fusion from your extra deck by using those materials that we have, shuffling the materials back from your hand, field, or graveyard into the deck. So you'll shuffle the Blue Eyes Chaos Max and the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon back into their respected parts of the deck to summon out your Dragon Master Magia. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.